Hey, I'm Kieran Thomas, and for my presentation, I will be speaking about globalization. The reason I chose globalization is I think globalization was a very interesting topic, and I think that being a business owner, it affects me personally. So the definition of globalization is that I have is that the removal of borders around individual countries so that countries can come together and trade goods and services. So I think to just give a history of globalization, I think that the most the epitome of globalization was during the industrial revolution, where there was this great philosopher before who predicted that the world would soon end by hunger, because he thought that with the growing population and then with individuals with scarce resources, he thought that will soon starve and not have enough resources and stuff like that. But then he didn't take into account the Industrial Revolution, which I think is a great example of how globalization has saved the world. So, just to give some advantage of globalization, businesses can grow. So, during globalization, let's say like you have a business in Jamaica and Dominica, there are just there's like a limited amount of people, especially when you consider numbers that continents hold. Your business can only attend to just about a few people, but when with globalization, your pool size for customers, I mean, you can get customers in the US, customers everywhere. So I think your business is better able to grow because you can reach more clients. Another advantage is outsourcing. We know that outsourcing is basically companies come and remove companies from, let's say, one country going to other countries to get either goods or services. You can see that even in the Caribbean we see a lot of outsourcing, especially with the call centers. You can see that the US companies, they take their businesses and they bring them down to the Caribbean so that people from the Caribbean are benefiting from US based European based companies. And also, I think the most important advantage, I think, is that the development of cultural intelligence. That's what I like to call it. I think that it helps build relationships with people with different cultures and from different cultures. It removes stereotypes. It removes any myths that you may have heard about the country, and I think it allows people to be more receptive and to understand people's cultures better. And I also think that it improves ideas for work efficiency, because I remember the chief personnel officer for Dominica, when she went to China, she said that the one thing that she picked up is that she saw that a lot of Chinese workers were taking naps during their break or lunchtime, and that made them so much more efficient than us. So she thought that was something that we need to implement. So that's definitely something that she got when she moved over to China to observe their working patterns. However, some you can have disadvantages. I mean, all things have disadvantages. One of the disadvantages that happens is outsourcing. I mean, I just said that all the advantages of outsourcing, but it also has disadvantages, because when you think about it, when they take employment from the call centers in the US and they bring it to the Caribbean, people in the US stay without a job. So people that would work in the call center, they are now unemployed because the job opportunity, I think, job opportunity is taken from the US and bringing it into the Caribbean. And I also think that it's also a disadvantage for the people in the Caribbean, because I believe that we are not being paid the way that we should. Because where they would be paying, let's say, like 15 US an hour in the US, in Jamaica or in Dominica, they're paying like 2 US an hour and stuff like that. So I think that's a really disadvantage for the US countries and also for the Caribbean countries. And another huge disadvantage, I think, is climate change. I think climate change in the Caribbean, we are affected way more by climate change than any other place in the world, because I think with the rising sea levels and us being low, small islands, also with the increased hurricanes, increased rain, the longer droughts, I think that in the Caribbean that we are facing more of the effects of climate change, because because of so many resources being used and so many equipment being used and the increase of carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, and all different gases. That's the end of my presentation. Thank you.